In the heart of Maine, there was a town called Derry, a place with a history as thick and murky as the fog that often blanketed it. At the center of the town was an old abandoned mansion known as the Wraith House, a place that whispered tales of horror and despair. The mansion was a monstrous edifice, its silhouette a jagged scar against the night sky. Its windows were like hollow eyes, staring out into the darkness, and the wind whistled through the cracks in its walls, creating an eerie symphony of ghostly cries. One day a stranger arrived in Derry. He was a tall, gaunt man with a weathered face and piercing blue eyes that held an ocean of secrets. He introduced himself as Mr. Crane, a historian interested in the Wraith House's past. The townsfolk were wary, but they couldn't deny the allure of finally uncovering the mansion's mysteries. Mr. Crane spent his days poring over old town records and his nights within the haunted mansion. The townsfolk watched as lights flickered in the mansion's windows, casting long, monstrous shadows that danced in the fog. One night, a blood-curdling scream echoed from the mansion. The townsfolk rushed to the scene only to find the mansion eerily silent. They ventured inside, their hearts pounding in their chests, and found Mr. Crane in the grand hall, his face pale as a sheet. He told them of a spirit, a woman in a tattered wedding dress, her eyes hollow and filled with an eternal sorrow. She had revealed herself to him, recounting her tale of love, betrayal, and a curse that bound her to the mansion. The surprising twist? The spirit was none other than the wife of the mansion's original owner, who had been thought to have run away. As the townsfolk and Mr. Crane prepared to confront the spirit, they gathered in the grand hall of the Wraith House. The air was thick with anticipation, the only light coming from the flickering candles they held. They began the ritual, their voices echoing through the mansion. Suddenly a chill swept through the room, extinguishing the candles. The darkness was absolute, a void that seemed to swallow all sound. Then a soft sobbing echoed through the mansion, growing louder until it was a wail of despair. The spirit appeared, her spectral form glowing in the darkness. Her eyes were hollow, filled with an eternal sorrow, but also a burning rage. She screamed, a sound that shook the mansion to its foundations and lunged at the townsfolk. Chaos erupted. The townsfolk scattered, their screams echoing through the mansion. Mr. Crane stood his ground, his face pale but determined. He shouted out the final words of the ritual, his voice rising above the pandemonium. With a final, ear-splitting shriek, the spirit lunged at Mr. Crane. There was a blinding flash of light, and then silence. When the townsfolk found their courage to return, they found the grand hall empty. Mr. Crane was gone, the only sign of him a charred mark on the floor. The Wraith House fell silent, its haunting finally at an end. But the cost was high. Mr. Crane was never seen again, his fate a chilling reminder of the mansion's dark past. The townsfolk were left with a story that was not just tragic, but truly terrifying. A tale of a haunted mansion, a mysterious stranger, and a spirit that would not be denied her vengeance. The Wraith House stood as a chilling monument to their ordeal, a place of horror that would haunt their nightmares for years to come.